Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. Hard to believe, but it's less than 2 weeks away from the start of the high school football season. That's if you include the Jamboree. Obviously, kids going back to school get excited about all of the sports seasons that happen. In just 2 weeks, it'll be the high school football jamborees along with the high school volleyball jamborees. And we thought you might want to get a sneak preview of where all of these games are going to be played at, because over the years, our jamborees have really changed up and switched related to who plays who and who plays where. First, it all starts off with the big HTV Terrebonne General Jamboree that is going to happen at Tom B. Smith. That's right, HTV and Terrebonne General have tag team to sponsor this jamboree that is going to be played right here in Houma. The host team, Terrebonne, will play the second game against South Lafourche. E.D. White is going to start it off against H.L. Bourgeois. 3 of those 4 teams made the playoffs last year. Very strong seasons last year, along with another, South Lafourche, who quite honestly would have made the playoffs. But remember, they were playing in Division I football when they were housed in a Division II district. So if they would have been put in the Division II bracket, they would have made the playoffs last year. So you have 4 really upstart, very good teams. Obviously, E.D. White making it to the state championship in Division II Select. Terrebonne, who was tied for the district championship in 8-5A. Which was 7-5A. And if you're tied for the district championship in that particular district, you're doing something right. And H.L. Bourgeois, who in the first round gave Hornville everything they could handle. So got some good matchups in that first one. Game time. First one starts at 6 o'clock. Second one starts at 8 o'clock, and that's certainly approximate for the second game, all at Tom B. Smith Stadium. Then we move on to Thibodaux. Thibodaux this year is hosting a jamboree, and in that jamboree, it'll be South Terrebonne against Central Lafourche. Start time for that one slated at 6 o'clock, and then Ellender Memorial taking on the host team, Thibodaux. That is also going to be right after. Usually about 8 o'clock is start time on that Friday, August 29th. A lot of people have asked, you know, back in the old days, if you were playing in the Jamboree in Terrebonne Parish, it was all your Terrebonne Parish schools. And if you were playing in the Jamboree over in Lafourche Parish, it was all your Lafourche Parish schools. Around 2018, it was decided that it's better to match schools that don't have to play in the regular season. So South Terrebonne does not play Central Lafourche in the regular season. Ellender does not play Thibodaux in the regular season. E.D. White does not play either Terrebonne or H.L. Bourgeois in the regular season, and South Lafourche doesn't play Terrebonne or H.L. Bourgeois in the regular season. So it made perfect sense to have these 2 jamborees work in conjunction with each other to make sure that these schools don't play in the regular season. This will be the only time they see each other this upcoming school year. So it works out really well in those 2 jamborees. Now, some of our schools in the area have to really search to find jamborees, and one of those schools, and his coach, who told me it was sort of a labor to do this, they are hooking up with Lafayette Christian. So Vanderbilt Catholic is getting on the road, and they're going out to Lafayette, right there along I-10 in the northern part of Lafayette, to take on the powerhouse that is Lafayette Christian. Lafayette Christian's been very good for the last few years. But as Brian Wallace said, that's going to be a good test for his Terriers. The only problem is you have to travel so far to get that game in. Nonetheless, they're going to take on a very good Warrior team out there in Lafayette. Moving on, another school that's going to be on the road is Houma Christian. Houma Christian this year is going to Fisher. First time they ever do that. So they'll be going out to Lafitte, Louisiana to take on Fisher, and I think that is a very good matchup for Houma Christian, a very competitive matchup for the Warriors. The last team from here in Terrebonne Parish that we take a look at is CCA. CCA going to be on the road. They're going to be playing in the Joe Yenny Jamboree on the East Bank. That is the East Jefferson area, and they're going to be taking on Jefferson Rise. Game time has not been determined yet, but again, the Lions are going to get after it against Jefferson Rise in that Jamboree. And the final Jamboree we want to take a look at is the St. Mary Jamboree. And this houses 6 of those schools, public schools, over in the St. Mary area. At 6 o'clock, it'll be Franklin against Patterson High School. Again, trying to match up teams that don't necessarily play each other during the regular season. And if I'm not mistaken, those 2 teams don't. At 7 o'clock, so evidently these are going to be short games because it's 6, 7, and 8. At 7 o'clock, it's going to be Centerville taking on Berwick High School. And then at 8 o'clock, it's going to be Morgan City against West St. Mary. The plan is, I understand in West St. Mary, that they are going to alternate facilities to play that. This year, it's going to be at Morgan City High School, or should I say the junior high field. That is the high school field for both Morgan City High School and Central Catholic High School, again on the 29th. So the one team that's not in there is Central Catholic. They'll be on the road that first week for the Jamboree. Nonetheless, you can see a lot of games all in one night if you head out to Morgan City on the 29th to pick up their Jamboree. So again, we thought you'd want a little bit of a look at those schools in our area that are going to be in Jamboree action that night, just to get an early taste of what you might see during the high school season. And as that approaches, we're going to start getting interviews with local high school coaches, giving us a little preview of what we might see throughout the year also. Got to take a break, folks. We'll be back right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.